Today, we dive into a story that seems straight out of a crime thriller, but is shockingly real. This is the case of Viktoria Nasyrova, a 47-year-old Russian native living in New York, who executed a chilling and nearly fatal plot against Olga Tsvyk, a 35-year-old woman who eerily resembled her. In August 2016, Nasyrova, driven by a sinister motive to steal her victim's identity, lured Tsvyk with a seemingly innocuous offering, a cheesecake. But this was no ordinary dessert. The cheesecake was laced with a powerful sedative, a weaponized treatment to incapacitate and ultimately eliminate her doppelganger. The case unraveled a web of deceit, identity theft, and a desperate attempt by Nasyrova to evade her murky past in Russia, where she faced another criminal investigation. The prosecutors presented a wealth of evidence, including DNA traces that Nasyrova left behind in this calculated attempt at murder. Her actions, born out of a diabolical plot to assume another person's life, led to her conviction by a New York jury. However, the drama did not end with the verdict. Upon being sentenced to more than 2 decades in prison, Nasyrova's response was as brazen as her crime. She lashed out in the courtroom, hurling expletives at the judge, showcasing a defiance that chilled the courtroom. Join us as we unravel the intricate details of this macabre tale, examining how a quest for a new identity drove a woman to the brink of murder. We delve into the minds of both the perpetrator and the victim, exploring the harrowing journey of survival, the complexities of human identity, and the dark paths that desperation can lead to. Viktoria Nasyrova's journey to the heart of one of New York's most bewildering criminal cases began far from the glittering lights of the city. Born and raised in Russia, Nasyrova arrived in New York in 2014, seeking to start anew. Her life in Russia, a tapestry of complexities and challenges, was left behind as she embarked on this fresh chapter. In New York, Nasyrova found herself navigating the challenging world of the adult industry, taking on the role of a dominatrix. This transition was far from smooth. She grappled with untreated mental health issues, a struggle compounded by the physical distance from her young son in Russia, who desperately needed a bone marrow transplant. The burden of her past, coupled with her present struggles, created a tumultuous backdrop for the events that unfolded on August 28, 2016. On this day, Nasyrova made a calculated visit to Olga Tsvyk's apartment, armed with a box of cheesecake from a renowned local bakery. The meeting, seemingly routine, took a dark turn when Nasyrova offered Tsvyk a slice of cheesecake laced with phenazepam, a potent Russian tranquilizer. Nasyrova's actions were driven by a sinister motive. She and Tsvyk bore a striking resemblance to each other, with similar dark hair, white olive skin complexions, and high cheekbones, a resemblance Nasyrova intended to exploit. Her plan was to assume Tsvyk's identity, a desperate attempt to evade Russian authorities who had issued a red notice for her arrest related to a 2014 murder in Russia. Nasyrova's past, marked by a web of intrigue and escape, culminated in this audacious act. Her efforts to recreate herself in New York were shadowed by the looming threat of her past catching up to her, a threat that pushed her to the brink of committing a heinous crime. Olga Tsvyk's story is one of ambition and survival. Hailing from Ukraine, she moved to the United States, where she carved a niche for herself as a skilled beauty stylist in a New York salon. By 2016, her expertise had earned her a respectable clientele, including Viktoria Nasyrova. Their professional relationship, seemingly normal, took a dark turn on August 28, 2016, when Nasyrova, feigning an eyelash emergency, lured Tsvyk to her home in Forest Hills, Queens. During this encounter, Nasyrova offered Tsvyk a slice of cheesecake, concealing a nefarious intent beneath its sweet facade. Unbeknownst to Tsvyk, the cheesecake was laced with phenazepam, a potent Russian tranquilizer. Within minutes of consumption, Tsvyk felt dizzy and violently ill, leading to a loss of consciousness. This orchestrated ploy by Nasyrova was a calculated attempt to assume Tsvyk's identity. Miraculously, Tsvyk survived what initially appeared to be a suicide attempt. She was rushed to a hospital, narrowly escaping a severe heart attack caused by the tranquilizer in her bloodstream. Upon returning home, Tsvyk discovered the theft of her personal belongings, including her Ukrainian passport, U.S. work documents, and a significant amount of cash, leading her to the horrific realization of Nasyrova's treachery. The aftermath of this harrowing experience left Tsvyk deeply traumatized. In her testimony during Nasyrova's 2023 trial, she spoke of the lasting impact of the event, reflecting on the ease with which Nasyrova had betrayed her trust. Despite the emotional scars, Tsvyk has shown remarkable resilience. She has worked tirelessly to rebuild her life, focusing on her personal and professional growth and gradually regaining the ability to trust others. Her journey of recovery and empowerment stands as a testament to her strength and courage in the face of unimaginable adversity. The devious plot that led to the near-fatal poisoning of Olga Tsvyk by Viktoria Nasyrova began with the guise of friendship and trust. Nasyrova, a Russian native, shared several physical traits with Tsvyk, including dark hair and a similar complexion. This resemblance was key to Nasyrova's sinister plan. The two women, both Russian speakers, seemingly shared a professional relationship, with Tsvyk being an experienced beauty stylist at a local salon in New York. Nasyrova, a client of Tsvyk's, used this connection to weave a web of deceit. On August 28, 2016, Nasyrova called Tsvyk to her Forest Hills, Queens, home under the pretense of an eyelash emergency. Trusting her client, Tsvyk responded promptly, unaware of the peril that awaited her. Upon arrival, Nasyrova presented Tsvyk with a box of cheesecake from a famous local bakery. After consuming a piece of the cheesecake, Tsvyk quickly fell ill, a result of the phenazepam, a powerful, tasteless Russian tranquilizer that Nasyrova had secretly added to the dessert. As Tsvyk's condition worsened, leading to unconsciousness, Nasyrova meticulously orchestrated the scene to resemble a suicide attempt, scattering pills around Tsvyk's incapacitated body. The aftermath of the incident revealed the extent of Nasyrova's cold and calculated plot. Not only had she attempted to murder Tsvyk, but she also robbed her, stealing her passport, employment authorization card, and other personal belongings. This was a deliberate move to assume Tsvyk's identity and escape her own troubled past in Russia, where she was wanted in connection to a murder in 2014. Federal agents later found evidence of phenazepam in the cheesecake and identified the pills scattered around Tsvyk as the same sedative. The DNA evidence on the cheesecake box further corroborated Tsvyk's harrowing account, leading to the eventual arrest and conviction of Viktoria Nasyrova. The day of the crime, August 28, 2016, marked a turning point in the lives of Olga Tsvyk and Viktoria Nasyrova. Under the guise of an urgent beauty appointment, Nasyrova invited Tsvyk to her home in Forest Hills, Queens. In what appeared to be a gesture of hospitality, Nasyrova presented Tsvyk with a piece of cheesecake from a renowned local bakery. This cheesecake, however, was far from a benign offering. Unbeknownst to Tsvyk, Nasyrova had meticulously poisoned the cheesecake with phenazepam, a potent and tasteless Russian tranquilizer. As Tsvyk savored the dessert, she had no idea of the lethal ingredient it contained. Within a short span, the tranquilizer took effect, causing Tsvyk to feel dizzy and violently ill. The situation escalated rapidly as Tsvyk's condition deteriorated. She became nauseous and started vomiting, all while losing consciousness. Nasyrova, feigning concern, offered to help but was actually setting the stage for her devious plan. As Tsvyk lay incapacitated, Nasyrova scattered pills around her, crafting a scene that mimicked a suicide attempt. This sinister act of betrayal, masked under the guise of a friendly visit, showcased the extent of Nasyrova's calculated malice. The poisoned cheesecake was not just an instrument of murder but a symbol of the treachery and deception that Nasyrova employed to achieve her nefarious objectives. The aftermath of the poisoning incident unfolded with a blend of urgency and confusion. Olga Tsvyk, incapacitated and surrounded by scattered pills, was discovered the next morning by a friend. This friend, alarmed by the scene, immediately sought medical help. Tsvyk was rushed to the hospital where the medical team swiftly worked to stabilize her condition. The amount of phenazepam in her system was dangerously high, putting her at risk of a severe heart attack. As Tsvyk regained consciousness, albeit still disoriented, she began to piece together the harrowing events. Realizing her belongings were missing, including her passport and $4,000 in cash, she alerted the authorities. The police, now involved, launched an investigation. The staged scene, initially suggesting a suicide attempt, soon unraveled under scrutiny. The discovery of Viktoria Nasyrova's DNA on the cheesecake box was a crucial piece of evidence that shifted the focus of the investigation onto her. In the immediate aftermath, the priority was Tsvyk's recovery and the collection of evidence to understand what had transpired. This period marked the beginning of a complex investigation that would eventually lead to Nasyrova's arrest and the unveiling of her elaborate scheme to assume Tsvyk's identity. The investigation into the poisoning of Olga Tsvyk swiftly gained momentum as detectives began piecing together the evidence. The key breakthrough came with the discovery of Viktoria Nasyrova's DNA on the cheesecake box, a critical piece of evidence that directly linked her to the crime. This finding corroborated Tsvyk's account of the incident and shifted the focus of the investigation towards Nasyrova. As the authorities delved deeper, they uncovered Nasyrova's motive to assume Tsvyk's identity, a plan that involved not only poisoning Tsvyk but also stealing her personal documents and valuables. The cumulative evidence painted a clear picture of premeditation and deception. Nasyrova's arrest on March 20, 2017, marked the culmination of the investigation. She was apprehended at her Brooklyn home and faced charges of attempted murder, assault, theft, and unlawful imprisonment. The arrest brought a sense of relief and justice to Tsvyk and marked the beginning of legal proceedings against Nasyrova. The trial of Viktoria Nasyrova, held in Queens, New York, captured public attention due to its dramatic and unusual nature. Nasyrova, then 47, faced charges for the 2016 attempted murder of Olga Tsvyk, involving tranquilizer-laced cheesecake as part of a sinister identity theft plot. The trial, spanning over a week and a half, featured a series of testimonies that highlighted Nasyrova's ruthless actions. The prosecution presented a compelling case, underscoring the deliberate and calculated nature of her crime. The key evidence included the DNA found on the cheesecake box, along with medical reports confirming the presence of phenazepam, a potent sedative, in the cheesecake and in Tsvyk's system. In a dramatic turn of events, Nasyrova's reaction to the legal proceedings became a focal point. Upon receiving her sentence, she openly defied courtroom decorum, directing an expletive at the judge. This outburst exemplified her defiant attitude throughout the trial. Ultimately, the jury found Nasyrova guilty of assault, attempted murder, theft, and unlawful imprisonment. Her conviction was a culmination of the meticulous investigation and the compelling evidence presented. In February, she was sentenced to a significant prison term, marking the end of a case that had intrigued and horrified many. This verdict also opened the possibility of Nasyrova's eventual deportation back to Russia, where she is wanted in connection with a separate 2014 murder case. The trial and conviction of Viktoria Nasyrova stand as a testament to the intricacies of the legal system and the serious consequences of crimes involving identity theft and attempted murder. The sentencing of Viktoria Nasyrova was a pivotal moment in a case that had captivated both the legal community and the public. In a significant ruling, Nasyrova, then 47 years old, was sentenced for her heinous act of attempting to murder Olga Tsvyk using poisoned cheesecake. She received a substantial prison term, reflecting the severity of her crimes, which included charges of first and second-degree murder, assault, false imprisonment, and petit larceny. Nasyrova's sentencing was met with varied reactions. The legal community viewed it as a clear message against the grave nature of identity theft and attempted murder. For many, it was a reaffirmation of justice and the effectiveness of the legal system in addressing such complex and unusual crimes. Public response to the sentencing was mixed, with many expressing shock and disbelief at the bizarre nature of the crime. Nasyrova's case, involving elements of deception, betrayal, and a plot that seemed straight out of a crime novel, had captured the public's imagination and led to widespread media coverage. Nasyrova's behavior during the sentencing became a talking point. Her outburst in the courtroom, where she yelled an expletive at the judge, was seen as a defiance of courtroom norms and legal authority. This behavior highlighted her apparent lack of remorse and reinforced the public's perception of her as a cold and calculated individual. The conclusion of the trial and the sentencing of Nasyrova marked the end of a saga that had gripped New York City. It served as a stark reminder of the potential dangers lurking within everyday interactions and the extreme lengths individuals might go to in pursuit of their illicit goals. As we reach the conclusion of the chilling saga of Viktoria Nasyrova, it's imperative to reflect on the broader implications of this case. The Nasyrova case is not just a tale of crime and punishment. It's a stark reminder of the complexities surrounding identity theft and the lengths to which individuals may go to assume another's life. The audacious attempt by Nasyrova to steal Olga Tsvyk's identity using poisoned cheesecake highlights a frightening aspect of modern crime. It underscores the vulnerability of individuals to identity theft, a crime that has grown in both sophistication and frequency in the digital age. This case serves as a cautionary tale about the importance of vigilance and the need for robust measures to protect personal information. For the legal community and law enforcement, this case was a testament to the power of forensic science and diligent investigation. The use of DNA evidence was crucial in linking Nasyrova to the crime, demonstrating the evolving nature of crime-solving techniques. It also highlighted the challenges and nuances of prosecuting cases involving complex plots and international elements. The Nasyrova case had a profound impact on the community, raising awareness about the potential dangers of seemingly benign interactions. It brought to light the need for greater awareness and education about the risks of identity theft and personal security. In conclusion, the Viktoria Nasyrova case is a powerful reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of everyday life. It emphasizes the importance of safeguarding our identities, being aware of our surroundings, and the critical role of law enforcement and the legal system in bringing perpetrators to justice. As we move forward, let this case be a lesson in the importance of vigilance and the strength of the justice system in confronting and overcoming such sinister crimes.